Hey, what's up, folks? Let me. Okay, first of all, just drop a yes in the comment if like my voice is audible and you can just hear me, so that yeah, I can start today's build. And as you all know, like today we are going to build the complete leaderboard for JWOC using different technologies like Next.js, React, TypeScript, and some other cool things like GitHub Actions, GitHub API, and all these things. Yes, you are audible. We can start today's build. So let me just tell you, and yeah, let me just great. So you can start now. And let me first tell you, like today we are not going to like do everything from scratch. Like I have already built this in my local system, and I have already tried to run this in my local system, and it is running completely fine. And yep, we are going to like start from scratch, obviously, but like we are not going to write line by line code. I will do some copy paste stuff, and don't worry, I will also explain what that part of code will actually do in the actual code base. So, like without wasting any time, let us start now. And yeah, don't forget to leave a like in this video and subscribe to our channel. So let's start, and let me just share my screen so that you can also see how we can go ahead. Great. Is my screen visible? Just drop yes if my screen is visible, then I can start my application. How many of you are excited to see the actual leaderboard and to see your rank in your leaderboard? Yep, my screen is visible. So let me open my command prompt and create a new Next.js project using TypeScript. And then we are going to move ahead and we are going to do some more stuff. So without wasting any time, let me hit my CMD. And as you can see, I have opened my CMD. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am going to create a new Next.js application using npx create next app, and the --ts flag will tell Next.js that yeah, create a Next.js app using TypeScript. So you are also going to see how you can utilize TypeScript and those types uh, to build your scalable web applications. Great. So while Next.js is actually initializing one project for us, yeah, it is telling us that what is the name of our project. So let us tell that JWOC leaderboard. It. So it is now installing the packages, and let me tell you, this leaderboard will actually work for any of the open source events like the script summer of code, let's promote summer of code, script winter of code. So this is not only for JWOC, so it can be used in multiple events also. So yep, let me open my Chrome and let me share another thing while Next.js is doing stuff for us. So So this is the complete code which we have created. Now, yeah, we are not like we will take some code from that project also, because like we have already created few things. If I try to do things from scratch, then it will just waste your time. So yeah, so we are going to use Tailwind CSS. That means we are not going to write our own CSS properties like display flex, margin, padding. We are going to use the power of Tailwind CSS, and we are going to use different class names for our React application, and it will automatically generate uh, those CSS properties based on the class name. Great. So let us move ahead with the Tailwind documentation. Great. So you can see here, install a Tailwind CSS with Next.js. So first we need to create Next app, and then we have to go to our project directory. We have to install a few dependencies. These are dev dependencies because we have added -d. So we have to add few dev dependencies, and then we have to initialize our Tailwind CSS for the project. Then we have to do some configuration. We have to add some directives in our globals.css, and then we can start our server. So I think uh, uh, okay, we are still installing few dependencies. So yeah, Next.js npm in installing few dependencies for us. So till then, let me show you the GitHub API which we are going to use. As you all know, I have already told you, and we have already told you several times, that your PR should have the level of JWOC. If your PR only has the level of JWOC, then it will be counted for the JWOC event. And apart from the JWOC level, your PR should also have one level, like from easy, medium, or hard. So if I open this page, jwoc.tech/projects, sorry, I misspelled it. Great. So you can see all the projects are listed here. And if I go to any of the project, like for Tracky, let me go to the GitHub repository, and inside the pull request section, you can see we have already closed, the mentor has already closed 30 pull requests, and the pull request which has been merged has the label called JWOC, this particular label. So if your PR does not have the JWOC label, then we won't be able to track your PR. So all the mentees, those who are watching the stream, just make sure that when the mentor merges your PR, make sure that the PR should have the JWOC tag. We are not like tracking the issues. So if okay, I think npm some doing something. Let me terminate. Yeah, it has already created. So let me open this in my VS Code. Okay, it has not been created. It has some like, let me just delete this and let me create this again. Npx create next app, and I can open ts asking me for the project name. It is now installing few packages. So let me just show the GitHub API which we are going to use. So we have one GitHub API called the PRs. So using that GitHub API, we can get all the PR data from any of the repository. So let me quickly show you that particular API, so that we are going to use that particular thing for our project. Right. So you can see we have like our API, and let me just copy this project name so that I will get the PRs for this particular project. And if I just replace this repo name with something called this repository, and boom, we are getting like one JSON response. We are getting one JSON response, and we are going to parse that whole JSON response, and we are going to find all the JWC labels. That means this is the repo for the Tracky project. And if I have also mentioned the state is closed, that means the PR is already closed, it is not open. So already closed PR will only be considered for the scoring criteria. And we are also going to check whether it is merged or not. If the PR has been merged, then it will have one property called merge at. So yeah, let me just to my screen so that you can also see, and you can also like get an idea how you can use this GitHub API and you can build your full stuff. Great. So you can see all there are like 30 items which we have already seen. Like this repo already has closed 30 PRs. So we are getting the 30 items for that, all of the PRs. And for a particular PR, we have few data inside like the PR data. Great. So we have our HTML URL. If I click this and open in new tab, we'll get the actual URL of that PR. And also the state is closed. Here is the main part. This is the user part. This is the user, and it is the username that Kicklord has created this PR. So we are going to get that data that who have created the PR, and we are going to add scores based on their GitHub username. So, yep, as you can see, if I open this HTML URL in my like this tab, you can see Geekylord has created this PR. So we are going to add points to Geekylord, and we have few things called labels. Great. So inside the labels, label is a like array, and inside the array we have like two objects, because that particular PR has two labels. So the first label is JWOC, which we have seen, and the next label is medium. So we are going to get the labels which has that particular JWOC tag, and also we are going to get the particular label of that, the difficulty level of that particular PR. So we are going to assign points based on that difficulty level. Great, great, great. So now NPX has created a brand new Next.js application for us. So let me directly open that particular app inside my VS Code. Okay, first let me go to the JWS Leaderboard, then I'm going to open that in VS Code. Oh, sorry, JWS Leaderboard. Code. Don't forget to leave a like in the stream so that it will help us. Yep, I think my VS Code is visible, and you can see we have already created a brand new Next.js application, and it has the directories called node modules, pages, public styles, and few more things. So the first thing which we need to configure Tailwind CSS, which we have seen here, like how to configure Tailwind CSS with Next.js. So first we need to add these dependencies. So let me just quickly copy those dependencies, and hit. Let me open the terminal, and I add npm install -d. We are going to add those dependencies as our dev dependencies. And we are also going to initialize Tailwind CSS for our project. I am going to open another terminal and npx Tailwind CSS init. Great. So you can see we have already created two files right now, postcss.config.js and tailwind.config.js. So we can add some configurations here for Tailwind CSS and postcss configuration. So I have already created like a basic Tailwind CSS configuration. So let me just copy and paste it here, because as I have already told you, we have done these things. So you're not going to do this, but I am going to explain all these things. Allow ESLint. So now you can see we have configured our tailwind.config.js, and here I am telling that, yeah, like we are going to go inside our pagex directory, and we are going to watch JavaScript, TypeScript, JSX, TSX files, and we are going to get those class names, and we are going to generate dynamic, like we are going to generate those CSS properties based on their class names. Great. And also we are going to use the components. We have also added some screens. By default, Tailwind CSS uses like mobile first, so it will use like min width, but we have customized that because we are going to do some cool customization for our small screens and large screens. We have already extended our colors property, and we have added few colors. These are the colors variables which we are going to use inside our class names. Also, if you have any doubts regarding anything, just feel free to drop it out in the comment, and I will definitely try to help you. Great. We have added few font families, and this is the last part that extend. And then if we are installing any Tailwind CSS plugin, then you can add that here. That our tsconfig.json is giving some error because we need to like select the TypeScript version, and I'm going to select the TypeScript version as our the version which I have installed here in the package.json, and the version is, yeah, 4.5.5. Great. So you can go ahead, move ahead. So I have already configured Tailwind CSS. So let us go to our next stage and let us do something which we got from the documentation. That means we have configured, and then we have to add those directives inside our globals.css. Great. We can delete the home module.css. You can just go to this globals. Okay, let me run the app quickly for you. I just type npm run dev. It will start our dev server for our Next.js application. And if I open this inside a browser, boom, our Next.js application is now ready, and this is the basic landing page which you see in the Next.js application. That means welcome to Next.js, and you can get started by editing pages in index.tsx. Great, great. So yeah, let me do one thing. Let me just give it a side and let me make it like this so that you can see the changes in live. Great. So let me remove all of this, and I am just going to add these three directives inside our globals.css as we got from the Tailwind documentation, and we are also going to delete this home module because we don't want this home module, obviously, and it is now giving us some errors because inside it is unable to find the styles. Great. So let me remove all of this. We just need this head tag, and we are going to configure our head tag, and we are also going to learn what does the head tag of Next.js actually mean. Great. I've added the head tag. Let me add a div here, and let me just put h2 hello world from Next.js. Great. Now you can see we got our hello world from Next.js here. So now how does the Tailwind CSS actually work? So if I go to my h2 and if I just add one class name called VG red 200, and you will see automatically our background is now red 200, and if I just increase it from 200 to 800, now we can see our red is now like more deeper. So you can just add few class names and Tailwind CSS will automatically generate based on those class names. So let us not like waste few things, and yeah. Great. So let me go back, and as we can see, our Next.js application is running completely fine. So the first thing, yeah, like let me just close it. Let me just close it, and let me create one folder called our backend. So here I am going to write all those script that will actually fetch data from the GitHub API. And don't worry, we are not going to use Express or anything like that. I'm just making a simple folder called backend, and inside this I am going to create one file called generate.js, and after running this generate.js, it will automatically generate data for us. So I am also going to create few files like utils.js. Utils, inside our utils directory, I am going to use one file called write json.js. So it is like we are going to create one utility function to write the JSON data. We are going to write a large JSON data inside our one of our JSON file, and from that JSON file we are going to fetch those data, and we are going to render those data inside our Next.js application. So let me go to my write JSON. So what I will do, I will simply copy a function which I have already written. So here you can see we are like requiring the FS module, and what we are doing, we are just okay. Great. Here we are just writing one simple file called data.json, and we need to stringify that JSON data first. Then we can only run like write that particular file. And if we get any error, then we are going to console log the error. Otherwise, we are just simply console log that yeah, file has been written successfully, and we are exporting that particular function. Right. So let me create another file, and that particular file will be all repos.js. So here I am going to grab all the repos which are participating in JWOC. So these are all the repos you can see here. These are all the repos which are participating in JWOC. We are going to fetch data for all of these repos, and we just basically run our GitHub APIs that I have shown you just before that. Yes, obviously the source code will be available on GitHub. Yes, obviously the source code will be available. And yeah, like let me create one repository, and you can just go and check out the repository if you want. And I'm going to push the code here also. Like everything will be open sourced. You don't need to worry. You can take reference from that particular from this particular project. So what I have done here, I have just simply created one repository called JWOC Leaderboard, and I'm going to push all of this code right now inside this repository. And don't forget to give it a star and fork it if you want. If you want to change the data, if you want to change the label, you can do that and you can run your script. So let me go back and let me just do one thing like git status. I think we have already did one commit. Git log. Yeah, Next.js application has done this commit for us. So what I am going to do, I am going to just add this remote, and I am going to git push origin main. Great. Now you can see the repo is live, and I am also dropping the link in the chat so that you can see that particular link. I have pinned that message. So just go to this repository and you can check out all the code. I'm going to push all the code to this repository. So like you can take reference from that. Don't forget to start that repo. So let us move ahead, and we have created one array called all repos, and here we have just inserted all the repos, those which are participating in our event, that means for our JWOC. And inside our write JSON file, we have created one utility function which will do nothing but write a JSON file if we pass some data. Right? Nothing complex till now, but now I am going to do few things. So first, let us install few dependencies. Like first of all, I need to install. Sorry, I am using npm. So npm install Axios. We are going to use Axios to make those API calls. We also need MongoDB because we are going to grab few data, like few mentees data from our MongoDB. And we also need one thing called .env. Now .env will help us to get the environment variables, and we can use those environment variables throughout our application. So I'm going to hit enter. And also I want to mention one thing, that the GitHub API which I have shown to you, that will only allow like I think 30 requests per hour if you are not authenticated. But you are authentic if you are authenticated, that means you just need to create one GitHub token from your GitHub account, and if you are authenticated, then you can make 5,000 requests per hour. So I have already created one GitHub access token. I am going to simply create one .env file. What I am going to do, I am going to create one .env file, and I am going to add two keys inside our .env. Well, the first one is the GitHub access token, and the second one is our MongoDB URL. We need that, but we don't need right now. So yeah, you can definitely check out how to create your GitHub access token, but I am going to stop sharing my screen because like I don't want that you will see my GitHub access token. Great. So let me grab my GitHub access token quickly. I am going to paste that, and let me just grab my MongoDB URL also, so that we need that next time. Great. So we have like added those two values inside our .env. And what I'm going to do now inside our git ignore, I don't want this .env to be pushed in GitHub, so I will add .env inside my .git ignore file, and git won't push my environment variables into GitHub. So you can see now .env will be ignored by GitHub, like git. Git. So we have already installed those dependencies. So let me close the terminal. So first thing first, we need something called our .env. So what I am going to do, I am going to just grab that .env from, and we need to do one thing like .env.config, and it will just configure the environment variables for us. And now we need the const access token, and we are going to use that access token to make the API request to GitHub, and our access token will be process.env.gh underscore access token. Right? So we got our access token from our environment variables. Now, what do we want? We want all of our repos, those which are participating in our JWOC. So we got all of our repos from using the same technique that require, and we are using require, we're not using modules, that ES6 modules, and we just made one variable called repos, and we have to do that thing. Also, we are going to add few variables here also. So yeah, for I have made one variable called event label, and we have made it lower score. So we are going to compare the labels in lower score only. So what it will do, if someone just add a capital JWC label in your PR, we are going to compare, we are going to convert that into lowercase, then we are going to compare with it. That means our script will automatically detect JWOC, 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 these kind of things. So we don't need to worry about our capitalization and other things, because we are going to convert that into lowercase, and we are going to compare the same thing with our event label. I've also created one labels data, and you can see our easy label has the tag called easy, and the medium as medium, and the hard as hard. Great. So I have also created one array called final data, and we are going to store our final data like great. Let me create one function called fetch data. And this is one arrow function. Also, I want this function to be async. That means we are making some API request. So we need to make this function async. So now what we need to do? What we need to do? We need to first like call our API. That means we need to like get the pull request data from our API. So for that, let me just copy paste a quick piece of code which I have already written, because The time is very limited and I can't just rewrite everything from scratch right now, so I will explain. So I have made another function called fetch repo data, and this is again async function, and I just need to pass the repo name here. And what it will do, I'm just making three variables called page count, and this is a boolean variable that means page available, and we have our all data. So what it will do? While the page is available, that means in some repos we have more than 100 pull requests. The repos which are like old, they have more than 100 plus pull requests. So what will happen if we mention our API URL in this way? Like you can see https api.github.com/repos, and we are going to inside that particular repository which we are going to pass here while calling our function, and we want the pull request data. So we are mentioning pools. We only want the pull requests which are closed. So we are mentioning the state is closed, and we have to mention per page 100. This is the highest number of pull requests you will get in one API call. So you will get maximum 100 pull requests. So in case of some repositories, there are more than 100 pull requests, which are obviously not included in JWOC itself, but they have previously participated in different open source event maybe. So they have more than 100 plus pull requests. So what we need to do, we need to add pagination to our GitHub API. So what I will do, I will simply pass another parameter here, that means page, and we need to pass our page count, and our page count will start from 1 and it will go up to that thing. That means if any repository has 150 pull requests, then first I need to go to page 1. I will get the first 100 pull requests, then I will need to go to the second page. I will get the remaining 50 pull requests that are present in our second page. Then I also need to go to the third page, because we need to check if there are any data which are present in our next page. If if we get any data while getting to our next page, that means we have more data, so we need to paginate more, we have to go further. And if we don't get any data, that means we have already like got all the pull requests in our for any particular repository. So I have added this one query called page, and I am passing the page count. And if you see initially the page count is 1. So I have also created one while loop here. So what it will do, while the page is available, and initially it is true because we want the first page, always we want the data of the first page. So while the page is available, we have created one request URL, and you can see the request URL is like in this way. We have also added this per page count and pagination thing. And what we are going to do, we have to make our API call. So what we are going to do, we are making one try block, and we are just doing one thing here only. For now, I can just comment it out because I was counting the number of requests which was going to the GitHub API. So what we are going to do, we have to use our Axios, which we have installed here. Okay, we have not like imported our Axios here. So what I need to do quickly, I need to import our Axios, and I have already installed Axios. I have I have imported the Axios here inside my generator.js file. So what it will do, I am going to make one simple get request, and I am passing the request URL which we have created here, and I need to pass some headers, and inside these headers I need to pass my GitHub token as the authentication authorization token. Great. And I am getting the response data as res.data. And what I am going to do, I am just doing one simple console log that data has been fetched for this repo, and the page count is also the page count. So we can keep a track of each and every request. And initially I just made one utility function of sleep. That means we will add like few milliseconds of delay between our API request. But when I figured out that yeah, we have 5,000 limit per hour if we make the authorized call, for that we don't need to add some delay, because what I have figured out, we are getting maximum of 100 to 105 of request, which is enough for 1 hour. So I'm not adding delay because it will increase the time while running our script. And I am adding some console logs so that it will look nice. Now I am checking if the response data which we are getting back from the Axios, if the response data dot length is not equal to 0, that means what the data which we got from our response does contain some kind of data. So I am just making one variable called JWC data, and we have added another function here. We have called another function here called filter JWC. We're going to create that function right now. So let me grab that function here. So what it will do, it will filter only the PR data, those who have the JWC tag. So yep, let me grab this function here. Great, you can see const JW, filter JWC. So what we need to do, we need to pass all of our data. We need to pass all of our data here, and let the final data be one empty array. And first we need to filter. We need to use some higher. We are going to use some higher order functions which are present in JavaScript. That means map, filter, reduce. You can check them out in the documentation. These are higher order functions. And if we do all data dot filter, and here we need to pass another function. That means if the return of the function is true, then only that particular entry will get selected. Otherwise our filter method will just do just don't select won't select that particular entry. So what I am going to do, I'm again making another local variable that is JWC. Initially it is false, and I am just checking if it is actually merged. So if the PR data dot merged add has some value, that means it is actually merged. It is not like closed, but it has been closed, it has not been merged. So I'm checking if it has been merged using PR data dot merge that, and if it returns some value, then only I am going to check if our PR data dot labels. Okay, let me show you once again which I was getting, and I'm going to make one unauthorized request. And yeah, let us see this only. So if you can see inside our each of our PR data, we have one key called labels, and we need to go through our labels, and we need to see if there is any label which has the name called JWC. If the labels has the name called JWC, then only we are going to return that particular URL, particular PR data. So what I am going to do, I am just doing one thing, that PR data dot labels dot map, and I am mapping through each of the labels, and I am going to see if each label dot name dot to lowercase, that we are converting the name of the label into lowercase, and if it includes our event data dot to lowercase, which here you can also like ignore to lowercase because we have already created our event label, that means our JWC in uh, smaller case, but I have done another checking. So what it will do, it will also, if your PR has the labels like JWC 2K22 or JWOC 22, this kind of labels into your PR, that will actually mark that as the valid PR for JWOC. So we're checking if it includes our event label, then we are marking is JWC as true, and we are simply returning this variable. And if we don't get the JWC label inside our labels data, then it will become the false, which is by default. So we are just returning that particular thing. Based on that, it is filtering out only the JWC labels. And now if I am going to check if the JWC data which we got from this, which we got from here after filtering all of the data, and I am checking if the length is not equal to 0, that means we got actual data which contains those JWC PRs. I'm going to map through all of them, and I don't want all of this. You can see we got lots of data here, but we don't want this all of this data. So I am only returning the data which we want. So we only want the username That means the user who have created the pull request. You also want the avatar URL, that means the GitHub profile picture of that particular user. You also want the user URL, that means the GitHub URL of that particular user. You want the PR URL, that means the actual pull request URL of that pull request. And we are also getting the labels. And what we are doing, we are just mapping through all of our labels, and we are just returning the name, because we only want name. We don't want color, default, description, all of this. We only want the name of the labels. And I am going to destructure the array, and I am returning the array from here. Great. So this is all about filter JWOC. So what I am doing after getting the response data from Axios, after calling that particular GitHub API, I am filtering out only the JWOC data. I don't want the data which are like not have the JWOC label. And what I'm going to, I'm again going to do one array destructuring, and I'm just adding that particular JWC data to our all data, and all data I have already like initialized here as an empty array. I am just adding those JWC labels inside our that particular array. And we are also doing page count plus plus. That means now we need to go to our next page, and we need to call out GitHub API again. And if we don't get any response, that means we are getting one blank response. Like here, if I just add few lines, I just want to show you something. If I just add this particular thing, like per page 100, if I add per page 100 and page equal to 1, if I add page equal to 1, you can see we got the data. And yeah, we got the data. But if we enter something which is in which page the data is not present, like if I just enter 2 here, we'll get here. That means we don't have more than 100 PRs inside this repository. So yep, that's what I am doing. I am just paginate our whole data, and our page available will be false in that case, and we are just breaking our while loop. That means for that particular repository, we have successfully fetched our data. Otherwise, if something happens wrong, then we are simply console logging the message, and page available will be false, and we are also process.exit. Great. So we have filtered our data. Now what we need to do? Interesting. Now we need to create another function. This function, like fetch data function, fetch all data function. Let me name it as fetch all data. Right? I've created this function, and first of all, I need to create one for loop, because if we use some higher order functions like map, something like that, then we can't use await inside that particular function. So we need to use for loop for this case, because we need to use uh, some await also. So I am just adding for I equal to 0, I less than repos.length. That means we are going to iterate through all of our repos which are present, and I plus plus, and I am going to copy few data. So our repo name will be repos of I, repos of index, and our data will be await fetch repo data, which we have created here. We are awaiting, and we are just getting all of the JWC PRs for that particular repo, and we are doing some console log, fancy console log thing that, and inside our final data, we are just appending that final data using array structure. Great. So for now we got like the data, all of the JWC PRs inside our repository. So now we need to iterate through all of our repos and fetch all of the data. Sorry. Extremely sorry. Like I just got some internet issues. So yeah, I'm back again, and yeah, like I am facing some Wi-Fi issues. So I have connected my mobile internet right now. So I have I have I have created two functions here. One is generate rank, and it will generate the rank using our full data. And you can go through all of that code if you want. Everything will be available in GitHub. Okay, let me first confirm if I am audible or not. Can you just drop yes, you are audible if in the comment, if, so that I can get one confirmation that yeah, my internet is working now. Great. So, yep, I am audible. Great. So, you can go through all of that code which I have written here. So, I have also added one function called get points. So, based on the labels which are present inside your particular labels array, that means if the labels array includes uh, anything like easy dot to lowercase, that means we are just checking that if it has the easy label, then we are just doing point equal to 1, and we are also returning the point and the difficulty will be also returned. That means whether the PR actually is easy, medium, or hard. And we are also like uh, we are also returning the points for that particular level. So we can go through all of that. And here I am just doing same things. I am just getting the points, and I'm getting the point and difficulty for each of the PR. And I'm going to check I have done some kind of check, and I'm generating user data. So it's time when we can use these things. We have already done the main part. So what we need to do, just copy this piece of code so that I don't need to write again and again. Again, everything will be available in GitHub. So if you want to check it out, I'm going to push that. So what I have done here, I am going to loop through all of the repos which are available inside our all repos. And what we are going to do, we are going after fetching data for all of the repos, we are just inserting them inside our final data, and we have to generate the rank. And we have created this generate rank function, and we are just passing the final data, and we are just doing one kind of short and checking AB. And if the A dot total points is less than B dot total points, then we are returning one, otherwise minus one. That actually helps us doing the ranking thing. And initially the ranking will be one, and we need to write another for loop here. And inside this for loop, we want to get the current data. And here we also need to create this particular thing like get data from DB. So what it is doing, it is fetching the data from our MongoDB database. And why we need that? Because if we see our GitHub API response, if we see our GitHub API response, we are only getting particular GitHub username. Okay, screen share is not visible. Sorry. Sorry, extremely sorry. Yep, I think it is visible now. Is it visible right now? Extremely sorry because I forgot to like share my screen. Yep, I think it is visible now. Great. So if we see just here that we are only, sorry, I just need to change my headphone. Let me just check it once again. Am I audible now? Can you just drop yes if I am audible? If I am audible or not, like my new headphone is working or not. Visible. Am I audible? Am I also audible? Yes, great, great. So let us move ahead. So you can see we are only getting the GitHub username. We are not getting the actual full name of that particular user. That means we need to fetch we need to fetch the actual username and also the college from our MongoDB. And the data we got we have stored while you have registered. So make sure that you have already registered, otherwise you will get null value because our script won't be able to fetch data from MongoDB. So that's the particular thing which I am going to do right now. I am going to again create one thing. As I have already installed MongoDB, I am going to create. I am going to import the Mongo client here, and inside our Mongo client, what I am going to do, I am going to create. Yep, this is the MongoDB URL we are getting from the process.env.mongodb URL. And here I am just creating one simple client. That means I am just connecting my MongoDB with the Mongo client. And then what I will do, I will just create one simple function, repo data, and I'm just putting it here that get data from DB. What we are going to do, initially the full name and college will be null. That means one empty string. And we are just querying through our database. That means the JWOC database, and we are querying through the main keys. And we have to do like find one here, and we are using some kind of indexing that you can learn about MongoDB, how you can index MongoDB data. So what index will do, index will help you to make faster queries, and you can also perform some search operations there if you just mark some field as text field. So I have already marked the username field as the text field. That means I can now perform MongoDB search operation using index. And I have made one simple index that I need to search the text where the search query will be the username. And yeah, that's it. If we get any data, that means we are getting actual full name and college name from our database. Then we are going to assign the final data dot full name to the data dot name which we are getting from the database and the data dot college. And if anything goes wrong, we are again console log the error. And I am also returning the final data here, the final data. So what now we got the full name and college name after running this particular function. So what I will do, I will just make the current data dot full name to the full name which we get from the database and also from the college. We are going to do some checking that if position equal to 0, then we are going to assign the rank to the current user to that particular rank. Otherwise, we are just doing another checking, and yeah, we are implementing the rank, and we are just assigning that particular rank to that user. So I have covered everything. So let me just copy the whole code again because maybe I am missing something. Yep. Yep. At last, what we need to do, we have to do client.connect. So we are connecting to our database, and then after the connection, we want to run this function. That means the fetch data function. And after the execution of this function, we need to close our database connection also. We are doing client.close, and we are also adding one catch block here. So, yep, everything is fine. Now let me just quickly run. We are not going to run for each and every repo. Let me just initially run for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me run it for top 5 repos. So what I will do inside our package.json, I will add another command called generate. So I will do simply node backend dash generate.js. Great. So if I now run npm run generate, our node.js will execute this generate.js file and it will just write a simple JSON file based on the data. So let us try now. Finger crossed, we are just hitting npm run generate. And if I enter, yup, generate, fetching data from for Chirag Thakkar create and share, and the page count is 1. Yup, our pagination is working. Great, great, great. File has been written successfully. Great. So now if I open the data.json file, you can see we have also got the last updated field. That's what we want because we are going to run this using some cron jobs. So what we have done here, okay, let me just go to this particular thing, the write JSON function. So I have passed one key called last updated, and it will just get the new date, and the data will be the leaderboard data, which we are getting from parsing and filtering, all of that thing. So now we can see we got our JSON data, but this is only for like 5 repositories. You can see, you can also see those console here also, like fetching data for this particular repository, and the page count is 1. Initially it is 1, then it will 2. That means it is paginating our data. Great, great, great. So our now backend is successful. If I just press Control S and here will save us. So let us go through our like schema of that particular response which we are getting after running generate.js file. I am getting the last updated value, which is we can parse that, and we got our username, first username, and we also got our avatar URL, which is the GitHub, your GitHub profile picture. So make sure that you are updating your GitHub profile picture if you want your picture to be like, if you want your profile picture in leaderboard. So the leaderboard will actually show the profile picture which is present in your GitHub. So we are also getting that particular avatar. We are getting the user URL, and we are also getting the total points. We are also getting the PRs which the user has already made under JWOC. So the URL of the PR is this one, and the difficulty is hard. Great. The second one is this one, and it is medium. And third one, fourth one, hard, and this is the link of that particular PR. Great. And the full name, this is what we got from our database. This is the person name, and this is the college name, and the rank is 1. But don't worry, this is only the rank based on these 5 repositories, but we have lots of repositories, and we are going to run our script for all of those repositories, and we are going to see who is now in the top of the leaderboard. So if you are excited or not, great. So we got our data, like in our second position, in our rank 2, we have our audit Prakash based on that particular 5 repositories, and the total points is 9. You can see easy, medium, easy, medium, easy. That means 1 plus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the total point is 9. And if I see here, hard, medium, that means 5 plus 3, 8. 8 plus 5, 13. 13 plus 5, it will 18. And the total points is 18. We have completed our backend. So let me, what I can do, I can just comment it out for now, and I can close all of this, and I will just make it quickly git push so that you can go to the GitHub repository and you can check out the code if you want. And also, if you want that in any line there will be some optimization, you can do some optimization for our script. Then move ahead and just create a pull request with your optimized code. So now I am going to commit all of those files. And we also need this data.json because we don't want to add that inside our git ignore. We want this data.json file, and I am adding, and I want to git push
git push. Yep, I have already pushed that. So yep, now our GitHub repository is updated with the our like value, the backend value, which the backend code which I have pushed right now. So yep, if I go to my GitHub repository, I think it is now pushed successfully. Yeah, now you can see one backend folder, and inside our backend we have our script, and we also have our data.json, and this is the data.json. So there are few points like for that case, I did not make converted that like in another repository, and I am just making one simple REST API. I can do that, but what will happen that when our data will grow, that means after 1 month, our data maybe the size of our data.json file will be 200 KB. So it will take lots of time to just pass the data from backend to front end of 200 KB of data. So what I am doing here, I am right now just doing this inside my Next.js project, and I am going to fetch that data.json from our Next.js app, and we are directly going to use that data.json, and we are going to run some cron jobs using GitHub Actions. So don't leave the stream, stay tuned with us until the end, because we are also going to use the power of GitHub Actions. So we are going to use GitHub Actions to run some cron jobs after maybe like some intervals, like after 5 or 10 minutes, and yeah, like after 10 or 15 minutes, it will just run the npm run generate, and it will generate a new data.json file for us. And we are also going to deploy that using Vercel. That means Vercel will automatically add one CI/CD pipeline to our project. So after the changing of the data, using our GitHub Actions, we are also going to commit those changes. So after the committing of the new changes, Vercel will automatically deploy our project for us. So what will happen? We'll get project updated with our new data. So this is the whole workflow which I have done for this project. If you have another workflow for optimized workflow, sure, you can move ahead and you can create one issue. Now let us go to our Next.js directory inside our pages. So give me few seconds. I'm just coming back in 2 minutes. Great, great. So I am back again, and let us just yep. And also the music is awesome, and is like generating too much energy inside us. So we can just continue making our project and we can continue building our project. Let me drink some water. And if you have any doubts, just feel free to ask in the comment section. Anything related to leaderboard, anything related to JWOC, just drop in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like the stream. Great. So now we can move ahead with our Next.js application. So first thing first, what we need to create our index.tsx file. So we have already cleaned up our index.tsx file, and this is our app.tsx file, and we are importing the files from globals.css. First, let me add some data inside our. Okay, let me just open this by side so that you will be able to see the changes. Yeah, folks, like yes. So we are going to add few things. We are going to add few things to our globals.css. That means we are going to add few styles. So what I have added, I have imported few URLs like for the what I can say font family. I have added few URLs for the font family, and I have also made the margin padding 0, and I have added the tailwind directive. I have also added one background for our body, and we have made the font family some kind of font family. And yeah, and for the scroll bar, we have also customized our scroll bar using some CSS properties. And yeah, we have also targeted one scroll bar which we are going to see. And for the selection, that means when the user selects any text or anything, the text color will be this color and the background color will be this one. And we are also like adding the image and no select property. That means user won't be able to select any image, and user won't be able to drag those images. So you can't just right click the image and open a new tab. You can't do that. And yep, this is another like CSS class which we are going to use inside our project. And also we are doing few more things like font face. We have mentioned one blanca which we need to import. We have to make one assets directory, and we have to add that. I think this one I can remove. So let me quickly create another folder called. Great. So I think I am facing some network issues. Uh, don't mind. And what I'm going to do, I am going to add few assets there inside our assets directory. That means we need some assets. And what I am going to do, I am going to add few assets inside our assets. Great. So I have added two assets here. As you can see, I have added two assets. One is the font. One is the font which we have imported here, like the font family, Blanca font family, and we have also like one is VG logo for our JWOC. So I have also imported the JWOC logo here, and now we are done with our global.css. So what I will do, I will just go to my index.tsx and let us create few components here, and let me just create one file folder called components. And inside our component folder, what we are going to do, let me see my index.tsx file. Great. First, we need some kind of header, right? We need header for our project. So I'm going to add one file called header.tsx. And TSX actually stands for the TypeScript and the React file. That means if I just make it smaller, you can see TypeScript React. So as we are using TypeScript for building our project, so we have to mention TSX instead of JSX. So inside our header.tsx, what we are going to do, we are going to paste few lines of code, and we have already created this. We have already like made these CSS that class names based on the Tailwind class names. That means flex, justify, between. These are nothing but Tailwind will make the display flex, justify content center, align item center. So, but in order to like add some speed to our development, we are using Tailwind CSS, and we are also using the image component which is present in Next.js to use some features like lazy loading and some other stuff. Like when we resize the image, resize our window, Next.js image will automatically do all those things for us. Now, what we need to add one package called hero icons. So if I go to, okay, let me just close this tab. Hero icons. So hero icons is basically created by the creators of Tailwind CSS. So what you can do, you can just go to their documentation, and we need to install hero icons using npm install hero icons react. So we are using React.js. So what I need to do, I need to just copy and paste npm install hero icons react. It will install the hero icons for our React project. So we are getting this error that means cannot find module. So it will be solved right now after the installing of hero icons. So what we need, we also need one footer, right? Yeah, now you can see the error is gone, and we also need footer. And we have also created one footer. This is like small piece of code, and you can see it is basically returning one footer tag which is also present in HTML. So but adding few class names, and also using the image, Next.js image, we are adding our logo. That means we are importing our logo from our assets, JWOC logo, and we are doing few things. Great. So now what we can do, we can do another thing. Inside our components, we can make one file called index.ts. Now what we can do, no, let me just avoid this thing for now. And inside our index.tsx, I'm going to first import my header. And I am also going to import the footer. Now instead of showing one div with h2, what I am going to do, I am going to show something else. Yes, I am just rendering the header here, and I'm also going to add the footer. Sorry, footer. Yeah, footer. So I have added the header and footer components inside my index.tsx. So let me just quickly start the dev server so that we can see those changes. Sorry, npm run dev. Great. So we have started our dev server. Now if I press reload, what will happen? Great. Now you can see it is already like getting nicer look, and we got our header, nice looking header here with JWOC logo and one small button which has that kind of home icon which we have imported from the hero icons that I have mentioned before. And we also got our footer, but we need few data here between our header and footer, right? All of our leaderboard data. So don't worry, we are going to create all of those components. Maybe it will take like some more hours, but we are going to do that quickly. So let me create few things first. Let me create one section just under the, and section has the class name, and this section will contain all the leaderboard data, right? I have created one section, and there will be like few things. So let me grab those things, because again, if I want to write those things, it will take a lot of time. So let me grab that particular section which I have already written. Great. Now we can see we have added few lines of code inside our section. We have added few div, few h tag, few p tag, few span, and few other components. So maybe we can just remove this for now, and we can also remove this value and on change properties for our input field, and we can also remove this component, that table component. Now we have something, and now we need to import our data, right? So the data we are going to import that from our data.json file. Import data from /data.json. Great. So now you can see our error is done, and now you can see something here, the right side. JWOC 2K22 leaderboard. Check your rank here. Last updated on. We are getting the last updated time. That means when our data is last updated, when our PR data is last updated. So it is last updated on Thursday, February 10. Yep, it is last updated on February 10 at 11:33 p.m. Indian Standard Time. India Standard Time. So you will also get to know about what is the last time when the leaderboard is data is actually updated, and we'll get a basic understanding that yeah, my PR has been merged this time. So in the next update, it will be added. The points will be added, right? Let's go to the next section. Now, first, what we need to do, we need to add one component called table. So let me just push this file as git header plus footer plus last updated, and I'm going to push, maybe, yeah, it has been pushed. So you can get those code from the GitHub, because I am updating my GitHub live right now. So we'll also get some understanding about the whole code, how the Tailwind CSS works. And yep, let us now create another component called table.tsx. We are going to use HTML table tag for rendering all of our data inside a structured table. So table is like a very powerful tag which is already present in native HTML. So you need to pass few tags also while using table data. Using table, you need to pass the table header, table body, table row, this kind of things, and we are going to do the same thing here also. Great. So before doing anything, let me create another folder called, oh no, not inside the components, inside our base directory, type. As we are using TypeScript, so I need to mention few types for our data. We have to make interface for our data, right? So first I am just creating some interface, like what I can say, table. Okay, let me just make it index.ps. Great. And inside this index.ts, I'm going to create one interface called table data type. Table data type. Now this will be nothing but the data which we are getting from our JSON data. Like this is the same schema structure which you have seen in our JSON. It contains the username, it contains the avatar URL, it contains the user URL, total points, PR URLs, which is a array, and the total points is number, and the rest of the things are string, and but the rank is also number. but it is showing us some warning that cannot find name PR data type. So we need to make another interface name PR data type. Great. And inside our PR data type, there are only two properties inside our PR data, right? One is the URL. If I go back to my data.json, you can see, yeah, in the PR URLs, you can see now that we only have URL and the difficulty. Great. So let me come back and save it. Yep. And we also need to export. And we also need to export interface table data type, right? We have successfully exported this interface so that we can use this interface throughout our Next.js application. Great. Now inside our table.tsx, I want few things. Inside our table.tsx, I'm just returning one simple component called table, and we are accepting one prop called data. Data will be type of table data type, which I can definitely import from our type. I can import table data type, which I have already mentioned here, table data type, and I can import that from the table data type. Great. Now I am missing table header and user card. So we also need to add those components. I am adding one component called table header. And inside our table header, I'll just paste this code. So what I am adding, I am just using T head. That means the table header which is present in the HTML. So what will happen? I am just adding few tr, that means the table row, and it has the th, that means the table heading. So yep. Now if we resolve the error and if we import and if we import it, and if I just comment it, okay, we have not imported our table inside our index.tsx. So we need to import that. We need to import our table inside our index.tsx. Only then we will be able to see the component. So let me do one thing. Div. Yep, I can just paste it here. And the table quick fix auto import. And for the data, for now, I am passing the data which we are getting from the JSON, right? The data dot last we want the only the data. So data dot data will be fine. Boom. Now you can see we got our like small table, and if I just expand it, you will see it will grow, and you will get some more properties like serial number, rank, participants, info, GitHub handle, view all PRs, and points. So we are going to add all of the data here. Great. So are you excited to see the actual data when we run all of our script for all of the repos? Great, great, great. So we are just moving ahead to our final build, and you can see all the table headers are present here, and it is completely responsive as I have mentioned you. That means if we okay, this is the one. Yep. If I resize my screen, you can see some fields are getting hidden. So we have made those things in using Tailwind CSS. So yep, you can view that code. You can view that code. I am just doing one commit so that you can get the idea directly. And I am also going to push the changes. Great. I have pushed the changes. So now what we need, we need to render something inside our table, right? We need to render those user cards, those which are present inside our table. So we are already accepting the data here. If I just do under our table header, if I just do one simple thing called inside our span tag, or let me use the free tag, and I will do json.stringify data. You can see we are getting those data, that username Binoy Shaw, the avatar URL, and other things which we got inside our data.json. Great, great. So again, great, great folks. So I think my Wi-Fi won't allow me to do the whole stream today, but let me see. Let me see. Let me try my best. Turn the volume up. Great. So So now we are going to use those data which we are getting from the JSON file. You can see all those data here, and if I just add one span tag instead of the pre tag, we'll see the all of our data. But we need to parse those data in some kind of UI format, and we need to show the data, right? Great. So finally, I have again connected with my mobile internet because my Wi-Fi is like doing too much things. Okay, fine, fine, fine. So let us not waste our time and let us quickly create this user card component, because now the user card component, we have not created our user card component. So let me quickly add one file called usercard.tsx, and I am going to grab the code for the usercard.tsx, because again there will be lots of code, and I don't really need to write all of those code from. We can avoid this thing, parse name. Great. We can avoid the recoil font now. We can avoid this thing. We are also going to use recoil for our state management. The table data type, we are going to import it from our type, and this parse name now will be data.fullname. We are going to make some utility functions that will parse our data, and for now the on click. Great. So we have created this data. Our table is having some issues. Cannot find name. Okay. Okay, we need to configure our next config, and we need to add few things. So inside our Next.js configuration, what we need to do, we need to mention our next, we need to tell our Next.js app. I am just pausing the music for a while because, yeah, let me just explain few things here. So we are telling the Next.js application that we are going to use images from this domain, that avatars.githubusercontent.com. Then only we can use the image component, the Next.js image component. Otherwise, we won't be able to use that. So yeah, let me just, and I have like changed the next configuration. So I need to rerun the server because it is telling me that found a change in next config.js. Restart the server to see the changes. So yep, run dev. Great. So if I now move back to the my table and if I reload the page, it should work fine. It should work fine. Let us see. And we got our data, right? And we also got our nice looking user image, and this is completely fetched from directly from your GitHub. So if you just update your GitHub profile picture, maybe I have, oh sorry, I have made it, yeah, RD. Thanks for the correction. User card, and if I do it right now, it will tell me that it is unable because yeah, the issue has been fixed. Now if I reload this page, great, great. So everything is working completely fine, and module failed, user code system cannot find user card, user CRD, user CRD, user CRD, user card. Yeah, I think it should work fine. Yeah, it is working fine. So now you can see all of our data inside our leaderboard. So you can see the GitHub profile picture and you can do more stuff. The serial number we are getting 4. Why? Because we are going to add top 3 cards here. So the top three ranks will be placed here only. So first, second, third, we are going to create 3 cards. We are going to create 3 cards. And we are going to render those username separately, and after that we are going to do that, and yeah, the rank will also get updated. Don't need to worry about that. Also got the GitHub handle, and if we click that, it will open the GitHub user for us. We will also see the point. If we click view all PRs, then one PR model will open, and we are going to do that using some kind of state management using Recoil. Great. So if I click the view all PRs, you will see a nice looking PR model where you can see all the PRs that has been all the PRs that have been merged for that particular user. So that will be also rendered dynamically. So the whole content which you are seeing here, all of the content are getting dynamically rendered using React. Great. So now let us move forward and let us create our next component. That means our next component should be uh, yup. Let me create the top card for the 3 users. So I am going to create one thing called top card. Top card.tsx, and for the top card I'm going to paste few lines of code, and again you don't need to worry atoms, recoil, utils, parts name. We are going to create those things, and table data type we don't need to create. We are going to import. We are going to import that. We are going to import that from the types, and we are also avoiding this parts name function. But we are going to see why we use the parts name, and we are also using this. So what we will do now, inside our index.tsx file, we need to place those top cards, right? Otherwise, you won't be able to see the whole thing. So I will quickly create inside our index.tsx. What I will do, I will inside our the input component, inside our this, I will just simply add a few lines, and we need to import, yep, we need to import, and we also need to one thing, that means array dot slice. Also need to go through data dot print. Yep, you can see now. You can see now. This is the rank one. Just drop in the comment how it is looking. Everything is created using Tailwind CSS and the power of Tailwind CSS. So, but don't worry, don't worry. This is not the actual rank, because we have not like yet fetched for all the repos. This is the just rank based on that particular 5 repos, which for that I have fetched the data. So yeah, you can see so many changes in this leaderboard right now. This is the top 3 cards, the rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. And we got the nice looking image here, name with the GitHub username. And if we click that, it will redirect us to that particular page. And you can also view the all PRs, and you can also get the college name. This is like very cool feature, because you will also get to know from where this particular person is coming from which college. So this is the rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, and from rank 4, and from the rank 4 and serial number 4, we are getting all of this data. So right now our data is very less. So if we fetch the complete data, you are going to see all of those data, and probably it has like what I remember is 125 or 130 entries. Unique GitHub users have contributed to JWOC till now, and it's only 10 days. So instead of wasting more time, let us do one thing. Let us commit those changes first, because we have done so many changes, including our next configuration. So I'm just doing delete cards. I'm just adding cards for now, and let me just sync it without using git bash or git time or command prompt. So let me just check one particular thing. Give me a second. Just drop in the comment section how it is looking. Is it looking nice, or like it is not looking nice? And Niladri has also helped me to build this nice looking UI. So the JWOC homepage is developed and designed by Niladri, and Niladri has also helped me to build this leaderboard thing. Great. So a big shout out for Niladri also, and we both worked really hard to build this nice looking UI and the features which we can bring you for the leaderboard. Great. Niladri OP in the chat. Great. So just let me just like quickly shut down my Wi-Fi router, and let me just turn it on again. Great. So I have restarted my router, and I hope that it should work fine. But let us connect it to the mobile internet for now. And let me create this PR model. That means when you click this view all PRs button, you can see this view all PRs button here also. If you click this view all PRs button, you will get a nice looking model where you can view the all of the PRs with the difficulty levels for any particular user. Great. So let me go back to my Next.js, and let me first like close all, and let me go to components. And what component I want to make? I want to make one component called PR model. PR model.tsx. Right? I have created one thing called PR model.tsx, and yep, I have pasted few lines of code, but maybe it is parsing this parse name function. We are going to implement that, and table data type. We don't want to import that from here because obviously let me do few things. Also going to remove the recoil error, and we also need to remove the set modal open thing because it is again parse name is causing. We need the user data, right? We need the user data. So yeah, let me first comment this out, and let me show you a basic usage. That means let me add my name here only. Right, and the total points we also need that. We also need that total point. So our total points may be 50, and PRURLs dot length. That means the number of PRs which you have made. So for that, I'm just adding 10 for now. But again, we are going to render all of these things dynamically. And here also, I'm also commenting. Okay, let us first install Recoil. We are going to use Recoil for our whole state management. So if I just enter Recoil, so Recoil is another state management library which is Recoil React. So Recoil, if you search Recoil, and you will get this homepage, Recoil, a state management library for React. So Recoil is another state management library, just like React Redux, whatever you have used, or just but it is actually for the small scale project. So if you are building small scale project and if you don't need a large kind of state management, then you can use Recoil. So how does the Recoil work? So let me explain few things. That your app will be basically considered to be a big warehouse, and there will be few atoms. So that will be kind of like a honeycomb structure which you have seen in honeycomb. There will be a big uh, big warehouse where there will be small atoms, and inside one atom we can maintain that state. Suppose we have our state of the theme, and initially it is dark mode, and if we want to change the whole state of the app to light mode, we can just change that value for the atom. And if we change that value for the atom, then automatically our whole state for the app will get changed. So we are going to use Recoil for today's build. And what we are going to do, I am quickly going back to my terminal, and I am going to type yarn add recoil. Sorry, why I am using yarn for here. I want to use npm install recoil. So while recoil is installing, let me check if like my Wi-Fi is working or not. So give me 1 minute. Yep. Can you hear me? Can you drop yes in the comment, because I have just switched the network and my Wi-Fi is not working. So I have again connected with my mobile network. So can you drop just yes, so that I can get the confirmation that yeah, I am audible and you can see my screen. So I have already installed Recoil here. You can see npm install Recoil, and it has installed Recoil for us. Then first we need to create one folder called Atom, because as I mentioned, you are going to create some atoms, and we need to maintain the state for each atom. So what I am going to do, I am going to create some more files inside our atom. So let me go back and let me see the code. First, let me add one file called modal atom, right? So So what modalatom.ts file will do, modalatom will hold the state of our modal, so that if we press the view all PRs, then our modal state uh, should get the state something like open, true, and if we if we press the close button of the modal, then it should get the state of like closed. So how we can do that? We can simply use recoil for this thing, and I am just going to add few lines of code here. Yep. So we are importing atom from recoil, and we are going to create one modal state, and we need to pass few things inside our atom, and the major thing should be key. And just remember, the key should be unique, so that if you are maintaining two different states, that means one state for your modal and one state for your dark mode, then your key should be different. That means I am entering the key name as modal here, and by default it is false, because I don't want my modal should be PR modal should be opened by default, right? And now I am going to create another file. I am going to create another state. That means selected user atom. What it will do, selected user atom.ts, and we are also going to grab few things here. So yeah, we also need to keep a track of our state. That means which PR we have clicked, for which user we have clicked the view all PRs, right? So to maintain that state, we need some different atom, and I have already mentioned that we need different key. So here the key is PR, and by default it has this kind of structure, because by default everything will be empty. And I have just added this what TypeScript validation, some kind of. So yeah, and right now I can close these two atoms, and I'm going to use those atoms to maintain my whole state. So yep, right now I think we can use those atoms. So what I am going to do, I am going to use the inside our user card.tsx. What I am going to do, I am going to grab those atoms. So let me go to my user card.tsx. So we have something in recoil called recoil state. So if you need something like you want the value as well as you need to change the state of the value, you have to use recoil state. But if you don't want to change the value of your state, you just need you don't need to change the value of your state, but instead of changing the value, what you only need the value. You don't want to change that value. For that, we have another thing in recoil which is named as what I can say, use recoil value. So if you type use recoil value, yep, you can also import that. And if you import that, that means you are only going to read the data of your state. You are not going to change the state. So what I need, use recoil state. Use recoil state, right? And yep, we are inside our user card, and we need two things. And just for our return, we are mentioning two things. That means, yep, it will definitely throw some error, because we need to do something. So what we have done, we have this is what this works actually in similar way how the our what I can say, the use state works, right? So you mention the array, and you mention two items in the array. That means the first one is the value, and second one is the handler function, which will help you to update that value of your state. So this works in similar way of use state, but it will update the whole app state. So, but to do that, what we need to do, first we need to go to app.tsx, and we have to wrap our app.tsx inside some kind of recoil provider, recoil root. So I need to add that. I need to import recoil root from recoil, and what I will do, I will just wrap this component recoil root. it, and inside our recoil root, I am just adding this thing, and now our error is done, but our PR model still needs something, and let us figure out what is going wrong. Okay, we need another component called each PR. So yeah, let us create this thing, PR.tsx. Sorry if it is taking too long, because I am like again explaining all those things, because I don't want you to get confused. I want you should learn something new today while building the leaderboard live, because you also need to see your enthusiasm. And yeah, for the each pr.tsx, what we can do, we can copy paste some line of code, and we have also like created one helper function called get color, and based off your difficulty level, easy, medium, hard, the function will return us some kind of background color and some kind of text color for all of our labels. So you are going to see what is the actual meaning of that particular thing. So PR model is working fine, and each PR, and yup, everything working fine. Now inside our index.tsx, we also need something. That means the PR model we need index.tsx top card, we need PR model, and we also need use recoil value from recoil, because we also need to get the state of our PR model. So use recoil value will help to get the current value of this PR open, like this particular state, that modal atom, that modal state. We only need the read access of that particular data. We don't need to change that data. So what I will do, I will, yeah, I think it seems fine, and I will just add it one line. Is Moodle open? Let me see it. Yeah, see it, and inside just our also need to import this Moodle state from our atoms, and I will get the is Moodle open. So if I now change this particular atom state, modal atom state, then it will reflect inside our index.tsx file also. So we can maintain state anywhere from our app, from any component of our app. So what I will do now, I will just add a simple line just above our footer. Right? So you can see I have added, if the model is open, then only we want to show the PR model. And if I just do it for true now, you can see the PR model is now like currently, you can see the currently our this is our PR model structure. So you will get the name, the points, total PR count. But for now it is actually hard coded, because we have hard coded this data. But again, we are going to fetch that, and if we click that, it should close, it should get closed. So what we need to do, we need to uh, maintain the state again. So I am going to my PR model, prmodel.tsx. Again, each and every code will be available on GitHub. So if you want to check out the code, and yeah, I don't want the pass name, and I don't also want the table data type. Instead of I import it from the types, and I don't want to parse this name for now. But we are going to see why we need to parse the name. Great, great, great. Everything seems fine, but inside is Moodle open. Okay, so we have to do another thing inside our PR Moodle, inside our user card. Inside our user card, we also need to like add some properties here to trigger our model. So user card, inside our user card. Okay, let me check. Let me check user card. Let me just copy and paste the whole code for now. And again, I don't want to pass the name, table data type. I'm going to import it from types, removing the path name. Right. So now if I click view all PRs, it should trigger, but what happens? Let me just quickly check. Yeah, it is running fine, But what is happening, we are doing set model open to true and set user data to the user data, and also user card.tsx, and inside our index.tsx is modal open. Okay, if we click this one, it will open because we have not yet added it to this button. So you also need to add that handler function for this particular button. But if I now click view all PRs, you will get the particular name that, yeah, this guy has gained 5 points, and like he has made one pull request, and here is the link of the pull request, and it is basically of hard, right? So if I now click this button, our PR model should like disappear. Great. So I also need the same thing for these users also, like for the first, second, third also. So what I will do, I will simply go to my top card. I think it was present in the top card. Yeah, it was present in the top card. In the top card, I am going to just do some again. We don't want to parse the name for now. We can avoid parsing the name. And what I will do, I also need to import this type from our types. Fine. So now if I click view all PRs, you can see all of the PRs of any particular user. If I now press close, you can see all of the PRs are present here. So you can just take out all of the PRs what the user has made. So view all PRs. And yeah, if you click that particular link, it will redirect you to that particular PR URL, and you can see, yeah, he has made one PR to my repo, and I have already approved that, and I have already added JWOC and medium label. So you can see the label is medium here. So he got the point for the medium, which is 3, and he has only created one pull request right now. Great. So I think we have almost covered uh, things like rendering data and some other things. But let me just quickly see what are the things we are missing. Let me just commit 1 second because we have done so many changes. Great. I think my Wi-Fi connection is now working fine, so I can play the music right now for you all. Yes, fine. So my Wi-Fi is currently working fine, so we can move ahead and we can see how we can improve this particular thing. So right now we can see all the PR data and all the PRs. Let me just quickly check my created project that if I am missing anything, if I am missing anything or not. We have few components like HPR, footer, header. We have our header, we have our PR model, we have our table, we have our table header, we have our top card, we have our user card. Great. So we have completed building all the components. But what we do now, we need our search bar to be like working. If I now search for anything, you can see nothing is working fine, right? So we are going to implement the search functionality for now. To implement the search functionality, we are going to use why there is only 10 participants. Because we have only fetched data for the top for the 5 repositories. We have not completely ran the script for all of the repos. If we run our script for all of the repos, which we will do just after completing whole the build, we'll run the script for all of the repositories and we'll get the complete data, complete leaderboard data for all of the repositories. I think that makes sense. If you have any queries. Again, feel free to use the comment section and let us move ahead. So to use the search, we are going to use the fuzzy search. And so you can search for in the internet what is fuzzy search and what does it mean. But for now, I am going to install one package called npm install fuse.js. So fuse.js will help us to implement the fuzzy search feature. Like it's already 12:38 and we still have so many people like watching the stream. So don't forget to just add a like to the stream so that we have already covered 2 hours and we are almost done. We are almost done. Believe me, we are almost done. We are very close to the final build. So what I will do right now, I will come back to my index.tsx page and I will do few things. First of all, let us import few things from the React itself. So import we are going to use useState, right, to store the state inside our index page. Great. So inside our useState, what we are going to do? Let me quickly see. Great. We need few data here. So what we have done here, that means this is the table data, the data which we are going to pass through our table, and we have also one method called settable data, which will help us to like update the state of our table data. And initially the data will be data.data.slice. That means we are just using the slice method, array slice method of JavaScript. And what we are going to do, from the from the third index to the last index, we are going to put the whole data inside our table. And for the top 3 people, we are using those data to generate the top 3 cards. And from the fourth rank, we are just passing the whole data to our table, right? Great. I think that makes sense. And there also added one state called search text. That means whenever we are going to search for anything, we are going to update our text state. And we have another state which is of type table data type. And let me import it from that our type, which I have mentioned here, the interface table data type. Great, great. So what we need to do now, we have to add some onChange handler. We have to create one function called onChange handler. Sorry, I think my caps is on. Whenever we are changing the search function, we are going to input something. We are going to make one function for that. So just I have just made one simple function called handle search, and what we are passing the change event uh, E, which is basically of type change event, because we are using TypeScript. We are adding things, and I need to import the change event type from React also, and we also need to use fuse. Yeah, we also need to import this fuse from our fuse.js. So import fuse.js, right? So we are importing this fuse from our fuse.js, and what we need to pass, we need to pass the keys for which we need to search. We need to search for our username. That means users should be able to search for the search with the user's name is username. Users should be able to search with the full name. Users should be able to search with the college name. That means I can search for any college name. That means something like NIT something. I can search for that and I will get all the participants info, those who are from the NIT of that particular college, and we can also search for the full name, and we can also search for the GitHub username. So we have mentioned all the three keys here inside the keys of views, and this is the threshold. Threshold. You can learn more about threshold. And if I just put it as 0, then it will search for the exact value. But if I add 0.2, it will do some calculation behind, and it will just return you some results based on your search query. Great. So we got our result, and we are going to set our search data with our result. That means this particular state search data. That means we are going to mutate our state for search data, and we are just changing the state with the result which we will get from Fuse, and Fuse will make all those complex search queries for us. Now, what we need to do? Inside our input tag, we need to add few properties like first we need to add the value, and the value will be obviously the search data. I think no, search, not search data, it should be search text. It should be search text. Yeah, search text. Right? And on change, we need to pass this function, the function which we have created right now, handle search. That means whenever something will change in our input field, our handle change function will run, and it will search for all of the users. Handle search function. Great. But if I search now, like I am searching for something, like let me search for Pranjal, right? If I search for now Pranjal, but nothing is happening, right? Because we need to do some more changes. We need to do some more changes here. So what we need to do right now, we are passing few data inside our table, right? Inside our table, we are passing only like the data which is present from 4 to the last. But right now, what I am doing, I am going to tell that if user search for something, that means the search text is present, then only I am going to pass the search data which like Fuse is returning, and it is just typecasting. And otherwise, if the user does not search for anything in the search bar, we are just going to pass the table data, and we can also hard code that particular data also, like means data dot slice 3 to data dot length. But I have made a separate state for that. I don't know why I made, but I made. Now if I save it, and if I go back, and if I just click on refresh, everything is refreshed right now. And if I search for Pranjal, boom, our search is working perfectly fine. You can now search for Pranjal. And if I want to search for other users like Ronit, I will make just Ronit, boom, you will get that particular value for the particular user. And you can also search for using GitHub username. That means the GitHub username is Ronit Blench, right? So you can search for only Blench, and it will just pop up Ronit account. And we can also search using colleges, right? That means if I want to search for Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College, so let me search for Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College, and we will get all the data which is Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College. But why you are seeing Kolani Government Engineering College? Because I have added some threshold value, right? So the Government Engineering College is present in our search query, so it is returning this also. And if I just make the threshold value to 0, it will only return the exact same search query. I think we are almost done. Let me just recheck everything. If I am missing something. Some factoring. Again, extremely sorry. I think, yeah, you people are here. So I am facing some network issues as I have already mentioned. Let me quickly share my screen again. Yep, yep, you can see. And if I reload it, and you can see, yep, it is now completely responsive. So if I make it more smaller, then what will happen? It will just break and make it flex wrap, and the cards will get aligned in column, and you will only get the important data here for the small screen. So if I open it up for iPhone 5, you will only get the rank and participant info, and if I open it for iPhone 6, you will get the rank, participant info, as well as the points. Great. So our app is now completely responsive. And what we can do. Okay, so I think we are done with the Next.js part also. Let me quickly check once again with the Next.js one, because I don't want anything to be missed. We have added index, add app.tsx, and yup, each PR, footer, header, meta tags, PR modal, table.tsx, table header.tsx, top card.tsx, user card.tsx. Great, great. So we have done with our build. So now what we need to do, we need to generate the, okay, let me refresh it. And yep. Okay, for Recoil, there are some errors because it is currently now in experimental stage. If we go to the Recoil GitHub, if we go to the Recoil GitHub, you will see this is under the Facebook experimental repository. So it is currently under the experimental phase. It's not actually for like production ready app. So what we need to do, we need to do few things to ignore the errors of our recoil. So I need to install one package which will help us npm install intercept std out. Let me install this package, and I need to do some add some configuration, and inside our next.config.js, what I need to do, I need to add some code here, and what it will do, it will just ignore the errors which Recoil will produce for our production and dev, and our app will work fine. So let me npm run dev. Great. So now we have successfully reloaded our app, and if I now reload, yeah, everything seems fine, and our search is also working. If I search for uh, Manjot, yeah, you can see the Manjot here, and if I search for other names like Shubhankar, you can see Shubhankar's data is also present here. So how many of you are excited right now? Because right now we have completed the build of our Next.js application. No, not yet. We are going to add some animations, because without some kind of animations, it won't look nice. So we are going to use another package called React Canvas Confetti. So let us see the demo first, like what we are going to like implement using this thing. So if I go to the demo section of Canvas Confetti, you will see if I run this code, you will see some kind of confetti will be generated to our application. So we need some kind of thing for our leaderboard also, because we want some kind of congratulations or that kind of feel you should get. Right? Yeah, you got my point. So we are going to install this package. We are going to install this package npm install canvas confetti. And what we are going to do, we have successfully installed the package, and uh, yeah, we need to create another folder called utils, and I am going to create another file called generate confetti. confetti.ts. Great. So inside our generate confetti.ts, I'm going to paste few lines of code which I have already written. So, yep. Oh, declaration file. It needs declaration file. So we need to run this command npm dev the types react confetti because we are using TypeScript. Yeah, just do the same thing which it is telling. Great. So I think now the error should be gone. Yeah, the error is now gone. So what we need to do, we just made one simple function called generate confetti, and it will just add some confetti to our UI, and we are just making it for 5 seconds, and it will request animation frame. That means for the 5 seconds, it will go into a while loop, and it will do the same thing again and again. That means it will generate more and more confetti for the next 5 seconds. Now, how can we add those confettis? We need to first you import use effect, something called use effect. And those who are already familiar with React, you can make it because you can just execute some functions in your use effect hook, and inside your use effect hook, you can also pass some dependency array. And if you just enter an empty dependency array, then it will only render for the first time. And generate confetti, I am going to import generate confetti from my utils. Now, if I press save it and if I press reload, what will happen? Just see, boom. You can see we are generating few confetti from both the side. So now it is looking more nice. So how is it looking? You guys, can you just drop in the comment how it is looking? Like our leaderboard UI is finally completed using Next.js, TypeScript, React, and so many things. It is now looking very nice. You can see the confettis from both the sides are popping out, and yeah, a nice looking feel. So put your feedback in the comments. How are you feeling about this kind of UI for the leaderboard? So what is remaining? Let me just quickly check. Like you can just put your okay. So now we also need to add another function. That means we also need to the thing which I have written before. That means parse name, because for some username the parse name.ps. So what I am going to do, I am going to create one utility function which will parse the name. That means if someone's name is written in like Niloy and then Siddhar, it will convert that into some kind of nice looking Siddhar format. So if it is like NILOYSIKDAR like that, it will convert it to nice looking this format, right? So this is the utility function which we have made. Now what we need to add this utility function to the places where we have like put our username. Great, awesome, super cool, great. So we have almost done with our leaderboard. We are just few minutes away from seeing our final data and deploying our leaderboard and using GitHub Actions to automate all those stuff. That means GitHub Actions will run our generate.js file after 10 or 15 minutes every day, and we'll get the fresh data fetched from GitHub API, and then we'll also generate the leaderboard dynamically using those data. So don't leave. We have like a few things, and if I want to add. Let me search for where I have used the parse name function. Parse name. I have used it inside my PR model. Obviously, inside my PR model, the name should be user data dot full name, and yup, we should parse this as parse name. Parse name auto import. VS Code is automatically importing for us, and I have also used these inside my top card. So let me press save and let me go back to my top card. Let me go back to my top card. Where is my top card? Here is my top card. Great. Username dot full name, and I also need to parse name. User data dot full name, and I have also used inside the top card, and I have also used inside the user card. That means this cards. I also need to like parse the name. So what I need to do, I need to first name user data dot full name. We are using user card, right? Right, got it. Parse name. I need to parse the name for here also, and I also need to import this function. Great. So I have also used that, and yep, we are done. We are done with our build. So now if I close this and if I go back to my command prompt, yep, it is working. And if I just press reload, you can see nice looking confettis are like generating from both the sides, as well as these are like the top 3 rankers and these are the remaining rankers. Serial number, we have ranks. Now the main thing, we are going to run our generate.js script for all of our repos, and we are going to see who is the like current standing of all the mentees. So get ready to see your rank in the leaderboard, and let me first comment out. Let me first commit those things because I have like made too many changes. I have added feed. Okay, so what I have done, data UI. Let me just do UI changes, and let me push. Yep. Let me just push it to GitHub also. You can use Git Bash also. Now, if I so I think you are excited to see your current rank. So let me just minimize this, and yep, surprise incoming. Yep, the surprise is incoming for all of you because right now we are going to run our generate node npm run generate, and it will generate the data for all of the users. Great. So it will run the generate.js file, and inside the utils all repos, I am going to comment it out. Okay, one thing. Before generating the data, final data, let me just show you the GitHub actions which we are going to use. We are going to use the power of GitHub actions. So we are going to run some cron jobs. So I am going to add one folder called .github, and inside this .github, I am also going to create another folder called workflows, and inside our workflows, I will just name it as main.yml. So inside our YAML file, I need to write some GitHub actions here. So what I will do, I will simply check one thing. I will simply check this GitHub action. Let me just paste it and let me explain it. So what it will do, first we need to name, we have to give the name to our GitHub actions, right? So we have named it as cron job because it will run one simple cron job. And schedule, we are scheduling it at every 5 minutes, but let me schedule it for a little bit longer for 1 hour. Cron job for every 1 hour. Great. And for every 1 hour, yep. You can see if we run, it will trigger the cron job at 2 a.m., then 3 a.m., 4 a.m. That means it will trigger our script after 1 hour. So I am going to copy this thing and I am going to paste this cron format. This is like the cron format, and you can just visit this crontab.guru to learn more about the cron format. And I'm just making it at every But every 1 hour, yeah, every 1 hour I need to fetch my data again and again. But yes, so jobs, I will definitely update this thing if I see that, yeah, like 1 hour is uh, too small. If no major changes are happening within the 1 hour, then I will increase that maybe to 4 hours or 5 hours. Great. So yeah, then we need to mention the jobs which we are going to run using our GitHub Actions. The first one is like the name of the job, and we are going to run it on our Windows latest, because I have used Windows environment for my development testing. So yep, I think Windows latest will just work fine for the GitHub Actions also, but you can also use Ubuntu latest or Mac OS latest. What we are going to do, you are going to use the checkout, and then we have to set up our Node.js using this action with the node version, something the matrix.node version. It will our GitHub action will automatically detect one node version, and it will use that particular node version to run our GitHub workflow. And what we are going to do, we are going to npm install, because first we need to install all the packages, right? And then we need to do npm run generate, because this is the command, this is the generate command, npm run generate, which will cause the regenerating the data. So we want to run npm run generate using some environment variables, like, okay, this is not the environment token actually. I think I have updated it. I've written this for one of my packages. So yep, I have updated it. So it will become something like GitHub access token, secrets.github access token, and MongoDB URL will be secrets.mongodb URL. Great. So GitHub action will automatically fetch all those values from our environment variables, and we are also going to use this action. And this action will, what it will do, it will commit the changes. That means we are going to rewrite our data.json file, right? So after writing the data.json file, we also need to commit that, so that Vercel can Vercel CI/CD can trigger, and Vercel can redeploy our app with the latest data. So I am using this GitHub action with the commit message updated data. So let me read. Okay, just I am just making updated data, and I am just putting my name as my username and my email as my email, and I am just putting myself as author. That means GitHub action will commit on behalf of me, and it will run for every 1 hour, and it will rerun the npm run generate script. Great. I think you got the basic understanding about GitHub actions. Now the main thing. Now the main thing. We are going to, what we are going to do, we are going to run npm run generate right now, and we are going to see the current standing of the leaderboard. So let me let me open my terminal first. Yep, this one. And I'm going to do one simple thing. Let me npm run generate. So how many of you are excited to see your position in the leaderboard? Just drop yes in the chat. Yes, mentees, get ready to know your position in the leaderboard for now. How many of you are excited? Just drop yes in the comment section so that I can start running the script. After, I will only run the script after your confirmation. So make sure that you are dropping that you are actually excited. Yes, yes. You are excited. So let us run npm run generate, and let's see what will happen. Great. We have already started to fetch data for our repos, and now you can see we are fetching all of our data. Great. So we are fetching all of our data. So while this script is running, I want to import another package named Sharp. So what Sharp will do, Sharp will help us to optimize our images for the production in our Next.js application, because we are using image component which is from the next npm install sharp. We have already fetched 25, like we have made 25 requests to our GitHub API. You can see the number of requests which we are doing. I don't know if my yep, you can see. I think you can see right now. We have already made 34 requests to our GitHub API, and we have also installed the Sharp. So let us wait and let us see. Let us wait and let us see. What do you think? Like, what should be your position in the leaderboard? Can you drop the number in the comment section? If you know that, yeah, you can. Let us see how many of you can guess correct. And one more thing, like few more thing I want to discuss, that if you are facing some issues with the numbers and the pull request numbers, then just check out the pull requests which the mentors has merged already. Make sure that the pull request should have the JWOC tag. That should be JWOC 2K22, JWOC in underscore, JWOC in upper score. It doesn't matter, because our script will automatically detect all the labels that has that particular keyword called JWOC, and make sure that the PR also has the label between easy, medium, and hard. If the PR does not have any label, that then it will be marked for JWOC, but you won't get any points for JWOC. Right? I think I am clear. So if you are seeing that, yeah, your PR does not have any particular label related to JWOC, or does not have any label between easy, medium, and hard, then first reach out to mentor and tell him or her to add proper labels to your PR. We have already fetched 91. We have made 91 API calls to our GitHub API, and we are still making API calls. We are still making pagination, and we're still scraping data for all of our repositories. And while I think my Next.js app is running, yep, it is running. So let us see. Let us see what is the current standing of our leaderboard, JWC leaderboard. And you can also drop your feedback in the comment section about today's live stream, and if you want similar kind of live stream in future, then also you can also drop that, yeah, we want similar kind of live stream where we are going to build something from scratch. But this is not a project which we have done, we have built from scratch, because it had lots of components, lots of logic. So I just made everything previously, and I yep, file has been written successfully. We have successfully made 103 GitHub API calls. So now, if I go back to the leaderboard, you can see the leaderboard. The leaderboard is updated with the current data, and this is the actual data. This is the actual leaderboard data which is now present. So yeah, congratulations to Tejasvi. Congrats for like having the first rank, and you can see all the PRs of Tejasvi. If you just click the PR model, and you will see all the PRs and all the labels that she has made, and she's also having 35 points. Wow, that's great. Like, it's been already only 10 days, and she has already gained 35 points. So that's really cool. And in second, we have Amirul Sheikh, and Amirul is from Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College. So a big round of applause for Amirul. And he has made 9 PRs till now, and most of them are medium and hard. You can see medium and hard level PRs. And for Tejasvi is from NIT Trichy, and Tejasvi has also made medium and hard level PRs. Tejasvi has also made 11 PRs. Great, 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 great. And in third position, we have Vidul. Vidul is from Build and Spirit of Technology, Mesra. If you see his PRs, he has made 9 PRs. Yeah, you can see here. In this PR, if I just click this PR and if I open it in new tab, you can see the PR has JWC tag right here. If I just zoom it, PR has JWC tag, right? But it does not have any easy, medium, or hard level. So that's why Mridul did not get any point for this particular PR, and the difficulty is blank. So Mridul, if you are seeing it, just reach out to your mentor, and if you think that you should get points for this PR, tell him or her to add easy, medium, or hard level to your PR. And here we have the data. We have Daksh Gupta in rank 4 with having 20 points, and he has already made 6 PRs just in 10 days. This is the data for the initial 10 days. And we also have Atri Shukul from Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College. We have Suti from NIT Surat, Binay from JIS College of Engineering, Ronnie from Academy of Technology. Great, great, folks. So another thing I want to mention. So if you are seeing that your name, your GitHub username is present in the leaderboard, but you have something like name not found and college not found, then you have to reach out to us because your data is missing in our database. Probably you have you did not register through our website. Great, Midul. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, you won't get any point for that particular PR. So if you count the total points, so that you did not get any point for that particular PR. Great. So if you are seeing something like name not found and college not found, but your username is present, you have to reach out to us, to the organizers, because you did not probably you could not uh, just sign up or registered through our website, and you did not also fill the Google form. So that's why your data is missing inside our database. So you have to reach out to us, otherwise you won't be you won't be eligible for the certificates and goodies. Great. We have so many folks. And you can see also the lazy loading of the images, which is the inbuilt from the Next.js image component. We have so many people from Jalpaiguri Government Engineering College also. I've counted my points and got 30 all total. Is this table based on all the repos? Yeah. This is the table based on all the repos. Can you just drop your name? Gamix7. Gamix7, you can drop your name so that we can see what your data are missing. And in total, if I scroll down, if I scroll down, till now we have 129 individual folks. Those PR have been merged for JWOC. So congratulations, a big round of congratulations for all of them. Those PR has been merged, already been merged, and you can also do more pull requests in upcoming days, because we also have like about 20 days remaining for our event. So all the best to all of you. And yeah, Binoy Shaw is his name, so let us search for his name, like Binoy Shaw. Where is he? Yeah, he is the Binoy Shaw. So yep, 30 points. That's amazing, Binoy. We only got like 4 PR which are labeled as JWOC. So please check that if any of your PRs is missing the JWOC tag, you can reach out to us on Discord. You can reach out to Discord. Yeah, Anubhav is also helping that ensure that your mentors have attached the JWOC and difficulty levels to your PRs. And JWOC level is something which is required. That can be again anything like JWOC 2K22, JWOC in smaller case, JWOC in uppercase, whatever it may be. But it should have that particular name of JWC. Great. So again, shout out to Tejasvi, Amirul, and Vidul, and a big cheers to all of the participants. Those PRs have been merged, and it was attached initially. All of them are removed now. So yeah, Binoy, just reach out to us on the Discord itself so that we can figure out your PR issues. And we have already created one channel called Leaderboard Issues. So if you have any queries, just feel free to reach out on Leaderboard queries. So Anubhav, just take care of the Leaderboard issues, and we'll figure out what the PRs are missing. Sure? Yeah, great. So Now we will host the whole thing. We will also push the whole thing in our GitHub. But for now, what I will do, I will quickly first do some configurations. We have already added our workflow also. So what I will do, I will just make the changes. Great. And I make GitHub workflow. And I need to push that. Yeah, let's deploy it using Vercel, because Vercel is the best platform where you can deploy your Next.js application. So let us move ahead to our JWOC leaderboard, and you can see we have added the GitHub workflow. But before connecting it to Vercel, okay, let me first connect it to Vercel, Vercel.com, and yup, new project. I am going to create a new project, and let me just wait for a few seconds. Vercel.new. Yeah, we have to import Git repository, and let me just import Git repository. I am doing few configurations, entering my passwords, and in few seconds you will be able to see the repo. Yep, JWOC leaderboard. Also, don't forget to like the stream, because your like can help us to do more of this cool stuff. And also don't forget to start the GitHub repo. I have already attached the link. So now I have successfully imported. Oh, okay, let me share my screen. Yep, I think it is visible now. So we have successfully imported JWC leaderboard project inside our Vercel. Zoom it, and the project name should be JWC leaderboard, and the framework preset is Next.js. And Next has already created few things for us. We don't need any environment variables for our deploy. Let us click deploy. Let us see what will happen. Let us deploy the leaderboard so then it can be accessible for all of you. The deployment has started. And till now, we need to do some configurations. We have to go to our settings, and we have to go to our secrets. And inside our actions, we need to add some secrets that we're going to use our GitHub action. So new repository secret, and I will add two secrets: the GitHub access token and the MongoDB URL. Great, great. So GRX, you can also reach out to the channel, or you can just DM me or Anubhav. I am creating two environment variables. I have added one thing. I need to add another environment variable for running our GitHub actions, because our GitHub action will need those things. Great. So we are done now. Let us go back to our workflow, and let me share my screen, and let me share the surprise to all of you, with all of you. Can you see? Yep. Our project is now successfully deployed to Vercel, and you can check out this particular link, jwcleaderboard.vercel.app. I am just posting it here in the YouTube channel, YouTube comment. So check out JWOC leaderboard.versal.app, and yep, you can check the thing. JWOC leaderboard.versal.app. Great. Just click the jwc.leaderboard.versal.app and you will be able to see see the leaderboard in your screen also. So let me just open it, and if I hit enter, leaderboard for JWC 2K22, and yeah, it is loading. It is, I think, some issues with mobile phones taking some time. Yep, let us reload it again. Yep, let us reload it again. Yes, yes, it is working fine. Yes, our JWC leaderboard.versal.app is working perfectly fine. So now this is the leaderboard which was last updated on Friday, February 11, 2022 at 1:12:53 a.m. India Standard Time. Great. So you can also find your username, like I can see Shananda here. So I can search for Shananda and you will get your rank. And if I click view all PRs, you will get that she has already made 7 total points and she has already created, and the PRs has been merged 3 PRs, and here are the links and difficulty level. If I click this cross icon, and it will generate the previous leaderboard for us. Great, great, great. So we have successfully created our script. My scores are not justified. Please reach out to us on the leaderboard query. We have a separate channel in Discord, leaderboard queries. So Anubhav, please take care of that channel that it has been created successfully, and please reach out to us on the leaderboard queries and we'll figure out what is going wrong with your PRs. Great. You can also see one thing that if you click view all PRs, you can just view all of the PRs which for which you got the points. And if you are tracking all of your PRs, all of the PRs which you have made, you can easily find the PRs which are not present here. So just visit those PRs and make sure those PRs have the JWOC level once again. Great. Fine, we have completed our today's build, and yep, I hope everything liked the video. Like, we are already streaming it for almost 3 hours for now. So yep, so again, congratulations to all of you, and I hope you all enjoyed today's streaming. And I will also just drop the link in the Discord also, so that you can check out the JWC leaderboard.versal.app, and you can see your rank. And all the best for the upcoming days. Great. So don't forget to like the video, comment down your favorite part, and also stay tuned for the upcoming events. Thank you everyone for joining, and good night. See you all.